After Trump imposed new tariffs on China, the crypto market took a sharp hit. ETH dipped by over 20%, BTC by over 10%, and many altcoins broke below their all-time lows. But the big question remains, is the bull run over, or it's just a deep correction to shake out weak hands? Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on Alt Crypto Talk. Today, I'll be going over 8 charts and indicators to reveal the answer. So let's get started, and of course, don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with USDT dominance, which is a strong indicator and signal to get a feeling about the overall direction. And we can clearly notice if you watch my previous episodes that we've mentioned if you break above the 4.3%, we'll be expecting a bullish movement, which would be of course a bearish correction in the crypto market. We didn't expect the sharp movement, but we expected that we'll be having a correction. Anyway, we've broken above this previous major high, 4.3%, and pushed all the way higher to retest or to reject the 5% resistance. The 5.15% is a very strong weekly resistance. That's why we can see that price filled orders here and then we have been pushing all the way down. It's a good indicator because price had a speedy recovery. Of course, it's exactly the opposite for the crypto market. We had a big bearish movement followed by a healthy correction. So let's take it step by step. For now, the bears have the upper hand. If you zoom into H1 time frame, we can see that we broke below this previous low. It's a very strong structure now broken to the downside, signaling the start of the bearish movement for USD dominance, which would be of course bullish for the crypto market. This massive movement created a demand zone on USD dominance, which is also a supply on almost all altcoins. So we're expecting now many orders waiting there, pending orders, take profit orders, stop loss orders, and so on. So a lot of liquidity there, like a magnet attracting price towards it. So we can clearly see USD dominance going down towards this area, which would be around 4.4%. Thus, as long as we are below this area and below the structure, we'll be expecting further downside, which would be of course bullish for crypto. Next, we've got the total market cap, which is usually the opposite of USDT dominance. If you remember, like 2 weeks ago during the overview, I've mentioned that as long as we are above the structure at 3.55 trillion, we would be fine. The bullish trend would remain intact, and this is exactly what's happening. We had a sharp correction because we were around the upper bound of it, acting as an overbought zone, as mentioned 2 weeks ago. We're expecting a movement from here, as mentioned previously, not that sharp, not that aggressive, but it is what it is. We are currently around the lower bound of this rising channel, and you can clearly see that how beautifully the price is rejecting this lower bound. H4 time frame, we also broke above this previous major high, a structure. We can see it better on H1 time frame. We've broken above it, 3.75 trillion, and we are currently expecting a retest and then another bullish movement to fill the orders here inside this supply zone, as we had a massive explosive movement to the downside from this area, which would be, for total to be exact, around 4.1 trillion. So long story short, we're expecting more pain, but then another bullish impulse or bullish movement. Next, we've got OTHERS.dominance or .D. As mentioned last week multiple times, what we need is a break above this previous major high, which would be at 8.5%. If you zoom into H4 time frame, we can see that we have been in a bearish trend. For the bulls to take over again and to expect the altcoin season to finally start, we need to see a break above this previous major high. If you go back to total, we can see that we have been overall bearish and now the bulls are taking over. This is what exactly we want for OTHERS.D. We want to see a break above this high. Once we have it, we'll be expecting BTC dominance to drop, Others dominance to go up, and altcoins to surge. Hopefully, or as per the previous cycles, we're expecting October and November towards the half of December to be bullish for altcoins. We expected October, right? Where is it? What's happening? It is a shakeout before the bullish trend resets and we start to go up one last time towards the end of the year. Anyway, let's get back to the price action. What we want is a break above this high to expect a bullish movement and to expect the altcoin season. Meanwhile, we can still push lower. BTC dominance is still strong. If you check the charts, you can see that it's already in a bullish rising trend. BTC, speaking of BTC, we have been bullish, and as mentioned last week, we are trading within a building, right, of these floors, and we are currently rejecting the lower bound of the first floor. As mentioned in the previous market outlook on the website at cryptotalk.com, that the 107.5 is a very strong floor or very strong support, holding the price up, holding the entire bullish trend. As long as the 107.5 holds, we'll be expecting further upside. If you go to H4 time frame, you can see that we are currently trading within the first floor, and this is the ceiling, right, or the resistance at 118k. If you break it upward, we'll be expecting optimism to kick in and expect the price to go up towards the 125, which is currently around the new all-time high. But let's take it step by step, right? We're currently here on H1 time frame. We've broken the structure at 113.6. If you retest it and this demand zone, which was created today, we'll be expecting this movement towards this resistance, and then after breaking above it, we'll be expecting further upside. Next, we've got ETH. After dipping by over 20%, ETH is almost recovering the entire bearish movement caused by the tariffs. You can see that from here towards this area, we have a 20% movement drop, and then price or almost recovered the entire movement, 20% movement upward, which was of course towards this supply zone, which was created due to the news. As mentioned previously, multiple orders here, so expect price to retest it, some reaction before the bulls kick in again. But the good thing is that we are currently in a price or a phase of recovery after breaking above the structure. If we retest it, we also have a demand zone. We'll be expecting further upside. But for now, the first or current support is around the 4k round number. As long as we are above it and above this demand zone, we are still fine, and we are still expecting another bullish impulse. Next, BNB. It was the beast for this week. It almost recovered the entire dip, and you can clearly see that it's almost around the previous all-time high. The current all-time high is around 1360. If you break above it, this would be a good signal that the bullish or the bull run, the bullish trend, is still intact, which is something very good and to keep an eye on. As I always mentioned previously, that it's very good to keep an eye on BNB because it is giving you a feeling about how traders are operating within the ecosystem. And since Binance is the first exchange, it's good to keep an eye on the native token of the biggest exchange out there. Anyway, if you break above the all-time high, expect further upside, expect more people to interact within the ecosystems, and so on. So we have a new structure just formed. Previous resistance turned demand, turned support. As you can see, this demand zone was filled just yesterday. And on H1 time frame, if you break below this low at 1271, we'll be expecting a correction. But for now, we are still bullish, and if you break above the current all-time high, expect more optimism to kick in. Solana, overall bullish, rejected a very strong support. 175, which is the lower bound of our support between 175 and 185, intersecting perfectly with the lower bound of this rising channel. Very strong non-horizontal support. We expected this correction, not that deep, but we expected this correction after rejecting the 250, lining up with the upper bound of this rising channel. Anyway, as long as we hold above the 175, the overall momentum, the overall, if you want, sentiment will remain bullish. So we'll be looking for trend following longs, targeting the upper bound of this big range at 250 again. If you zoom into H1 time frame, just like the previous ones, we have the structure being broken upward. We are currently in a correction phase, retesting the support one more time, where we also have a demand zone created by this latest bullish movement, and then of course where we'll be looking for trend following longs, targeting as a first target this supply zone at 220 round number. The supply was created, as mentioned previously multiple times, on BTC, ETH, USDT dominance total by the news. Many orders are sitting there waiting to be filled like a magnet. Last but not least, XRP. Weekly time frame, we've rejected this to 1.85 support zone. On daily time frame, we have been bearish. As mentioned last week, if you break below this low, we'll be expecting price to dip deeper towards the 2. We didn't expect this aggressive movement, but we expected this drop if and only if we break below this low. On H4 time frame, you can see it even better. We've broken below the zone, pushed lower, and we are currently retesting the structure. If you break back above it, we'll be expecting a movement towards the upper bound of this falling channel and also this supply zone. But for now, let's take it step by step. On H1 time frame, if you break below this structure, expect further downside towards the lower bound of this range. So very crucial area for XRP. If you break below the low, expect further downside. If you break below this low at 2.31, expect further downside toward the 2 round number. But I don't think this will happen. We might fill half of the wick, but I don't think we'll be filling it entirely. Of course, NFA, do your own research, but this is a very, very strong area. Usually, after a big wick, price tend to fill 50% of it. And if you take the Fibonacci for example, you can see the 50% is already around there. Let's go for here and add the 50%. This is it. So we might be pushing lower, retesting the 0.5 if and only if we break below the 2.3. which is currently the previous major low. And in parallel, for the bulls to take over and to remain in control short term and take over medium term, we need to see a break above this structure above 2.65. In this case, expect further upside towards the upper bound of this falling channel in red and the 3 round number. That's it for today. Let me know in the comments if you believe the bull run is over or you are currently buying even more, and which altcoins are you holding and which altcoins you would like me to go over next. And I'll see you hopefully next week.